Yes, ready.
Okay. Yes, we are here. How are you? Well, we are live already, so I want all the people who are here, who are on YouTube channel, please tell me if you hear me well, if you see me well, because we're going to start this panel. This is about scholarships and opportunities abroad. Just let me know if everything is okay, because I don't know if it's okay. Well, just let me check YouTube if it's ready. Well, meanwhile, I want just ask you your names and see if you can introduce yourself. John first, then Maria, and then finally Dan. Is it okay this order? Yes.
Right.
Okay.
So, yes, can I start, Miss? Okay,
Yes.
that's awesome. So, thank you very much for the invitation. It's a huge pleasure for me to be here, sharing the space with some wonderful people here. It's always amazing to be here. And I want to start just by saying my name. I am Jonathan Candia. I am from Ciudad del Este, and I am an undergraduate exchange program alumni. So that means like last year I went to an exchange program, and I am so happy to be here. And congratulations one more time for this wonderful project. And I hope that all of us can learn something today because like this is something amazing.
Thank you.
Hello, thank you. It's great to see you again, Fatima. My name is Maria. I'm from Guatemala, and I have been in different scholarships and exchange programs as Wildlife and Chivinin and many other internships abroad.
Thank you, Maria. Danny?
Good evening, everyone. Maria and John, it's nice to meet you. So my name is Daniele. I'm from Brazil, and I have been awarded to 3 different programs. The first one was Fulbright as a foreign language teaching assistant in the US. The second was Chevening, like Maria, and the third one, YLI, with you, Fatima. Yeah, we were in the same cohort.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you very much. I just want to let you know to all the people who are watching us that Jonathan used to be well, actually he's my neighbor, and we used to be in the same high school, and we are both teachers. We used to be colleagues and co-workers. Maria and Daniele, both of them were my colleagues or my partners in this wildlife scholarship that we have been awarded to. And well, actually Nadia and I invited them because we are very happy to share with you their experiences, because they have been awarded with different scholarships, with different opportunities. And I believe, and we believe, that this is very important for you to start dreaming, because everything starts with a dream. Everything starts here. So here you will have inspiring people talking about their experiences, their lives, their all what happened to them, and how they succeed, and how they achieve actually all these opportunities. And I want you to start, Jonathan, talking a little bit about what was the program you did, or what was the program name, and what do you usually, or not what do you usually, but what are you currently working on? What are your current projects, and a little bit about your professional and academic life?
Well, I'm going to start like just by saying I am an international and integration student at the University of Latin American Integration in Foz do Iguaçu, Brazil. So yeah, I'm almost finishing. I'm like about to finish. I'm already working on my thesis, which is going to be the last part of the project. And it was so funny because last year it was my last try in order to get the scholarship. It's been like 6 years of trying, failing and trying, because I think like part of success is to fail, but you need to accept the failure and then you just need to try again. And well, that's something awesome because last year I had opportunity to be part and to be chosen to be a participant in the Global Youth Growth Program. And this program is about is an exchange program, and basically young students all over the world go to the United States of America in order to like them to have 1 semester studying a university career. So you are required to study 4 subjects, but you can study more if you want to. Besides from this, you also have opportunity to learn from the culture. You also had opportunity to have a summit in Washington D.C. So you get to know with all the rest of the students are also going to be in that semester, not only in your university, but also in several universities like throughout the United States. So you had opportunity to get to know new people. You had opportunity to learn from the culture. You have the opportunity to make connections because this program, well, you know that this program is wonderful. It's amazing, but at the same time, this is not the end of it. As you're going to mention later on, you have Fulbright, you have also Chevening and other opportunities. So this is a good opportunity for you to get like letters of recommendation. So that was amazing for me. So basically, I went to the state of Georgia, and I was in a semester in Georgia College and State University. Right now, I am a teacher, an English teacher. I have already my own institute, English Institute, and I'm also working in several schools here in Paraguay, and I'm gonna start just with that.
Oh, thank you very much, Jonathan. Well, before we continue, I just want to let you know that you can ask your own questions in the chat so I can read for them if you have any specific questions. So you are very welcome to ask anything about the topic we're talking about. Well, Maria, do you want to tell us what were the programs or exchange programs and scholarship that you have participated in?
Yes. So I am a chemist. I study chemistry for my undergrad, and my experience in abroad, like exchange programs, start just after finishing my studies of chemistry. The first program that I joined was Young Water Solutions Fellowship. That it was a program in Switzerland from people from all over the developing countries, focusing on water issues that we could resolve in our countries. Then I went for another program that is called ITEC, that is from the Indian government. So we spent 1 month in India learning, in my case, biopolymers. That is the area that I am focusing on. After that, I got the Chevening scholarship to do my studies, master studies in materials chemistry at the University of Edinburgh, that also Daniel went. Yeah, so I studied there for a year. Chevening is a 1-year program, and you can choose whatever master program that you are interested in. So I studied there, and last it was Wildlife, that is this program for that empowers entrepreneurs, and we spent a month with Fatima in Kalamazoo, Michigan, and I was working on a wastewater treatment plant. So our different programs varying from short courses to my master, that it was the Chevening program.
Thank you, Maria. Well, it's amazing to hear that you both have already participated in many other programs, and especially that you have been to India, actually using your English. So that's very interesting to know. Well, Daniel, do you want to talk about your experience?
Sure. So I have a background in language teaching. So my first scholarship was a Fulbright FLTA scholarship, which stands for Foreign Language Teaching Assistant. So I spent 9 months in the US teaching Portuguese to American students, or well, students that were going to an American college. And it was a fantastic experience. So for those of you who are watching, if you have a teaching career ahead and you want to teach your language, the language of your country in the US, that is one scholarship for you, the FLTA scholarship for Fulbright. And then 1 year after I returned to Brazil, I applied for Chevening. And then just like Maria, that was my second scholarship. I went to the University of Edinburgh, just like her, I'm suspicious to talk about Edinburgh and about the University of Edinburgh. I'm really passionate about that city and about that university. And I did a master's in TESOL, in teaching English to speakers of other languages. That was a one-year program because the masters in the UK are shorter than, at least in Brazil. Here we have the minimum of 2 years. And there, if you have a full-time course, you can finish your master's in a period of just 1 year, which is what Chevening invests on us. Yes, it's only the full-time. And then after returning to Brazil, after the completion of Chevening, I already had my business working independently, but it was still in an initial stage. And then after I returned from the UK, I invited a person to become my business partner. We invested, we expanded our activities. And because of that, I applied for YLI a few years later. And then this year I had the opportunity to go and really live this experience of something focused on entrepreneurship, which is very different from my first two experiences. My first one was really focused on teaching, on taking courses in the college, non-degree, but taking courses as a student. The second was entirely academic, and then the third one was a business program. So I think this is something also very special about my journey, that I had the opportunity to experience different types of programs along the way. And just to mention, I applied for YLI 3 times. So that's also something that I'd like to inspire people that are watching, that if you try to apply for a program once and you're not accepted, please don't stop trying. Because maybe it was that one application, maybe the people that you're competing with, or the person that gets your application, maybe in that moment you were not selected, you didn't make to the next round, to the interviews, but keep trying. So third time was my charm. It was my moment of luck, and I'm really happy that things happened the way they did, because the time that I was selected now for this round,
it
was the perfect time, because in the first time that I applied, my business was really in an initial stage. I don't even know how I would have fulfilled all of the documents and the requirements of the program. So I'm really grateful for the way things went.
Yes, thank you very much. So I had to say that I was selected in the second time, actually, not my first. I got into the interview sessions the first time I applied, but then I couldn't stay selected. I wasn't selected. Well, now I want you three talk a little bit about what were the requirements, what were the things that you had to do in order to be selected for these scholarships or for these programs that you were or that you participated in. Well, I understand Jonathan have been, as he mentioned, in the college in Georgia. So what were the documents? What were the requirements, the eligibility requirements? And also, if you want to mention, if you know, what are the countries that can apply, or the citizens that can apply to this scholarship, to this opportunity? And what is your recommendation for the ones who are willing to do the same? And of course, because here we have parents, we have teachers, we have professionals, we have the students. Everyone who is now connected are at different stages in their lives. So Jonathan, if you want to tell us a little bit, what was your journey to be selected to be a UGRAD exchange student?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, I find it interesting. Like, I think all of us have tried many times in order to get it. And I used to have a friend, like, she was just saying, like, just try, like, it doesn't matter, 10 opportunities, just try the 10, and you're gonna be lucky enough, like, one of them will choose you. And I use that philosophy, and I tried a lot in order to get into this opportunity. So basically, the UGRA scholarship is open to almost all the world. In my promotion, for example, the time that I had opportunity to be in the summit in Washington, we had more than 300 students, and they were from more than 40 countries around the world, if I'm not mistaken. And well, it was so wonderful. So basically, the process was simple. You just have to be undergraduates. You have to be, well, it doesn't actually say like the age limit, but you have to be like in university. You have to be over 18, and you need to study one career, and then you have to write essays about it. Like you're going to answer some questions, you know, the typical questions that will say, for example, tell me more about yourself. It's basically the personal statement that young students should write in order to, like, for them to get into universities in the States. And then after that application, because you have a form to fill in, and then you have to write essays, and then you go through interviews with the embassy. And if you're chosen, you have to take the TOEFL exam. So that's the last part of it. And if you pass the TOEFL exam, they're going to provide you one university, and then you just have to have a medical form and in order to check your health, and then you just go there and you stay there for 4 months. So that's basically the process. You have to go through essays, through interviews, and you can find all the information on the embassy webpage, because like all important information is there, and the applications are going to be open soon, like in 2 months or something. So stay tuned if you want to try the scholarship, especially if you are in university right now.
Excellent. Thank you, Jonathan. Well, if you're interested, so you have to have an eye always on the embassy website. So another question that just before continue with Maria and Danny, what were the challenges that you had to face during this process?
Well, there were lots of challenges actually. Like when I was in the US, the cultural shock was really huge for me, because like so different countries. And in the process, the challenges was like I lack experience in interviews, and I didn't have enough abilities to write. I didn't know how to express myself. So basically, I had to really search for videos that teach me how to use the elevator pitch, for example. I need to look for for other videos, tutorial videos that taught me how to write essays and all that. And basically, I didn't have enough people, because there are only 30 people in Paraguay who got the scholarship. And I didn't receive lots of support from other people who can tell me, hey, you know what, don't do this. Why don't you try this? Like basically, I tried it like on my own. And it's always good to have someone that has already been through that process, because that person can help you and can help you not to not to make the same mistakes. And I would say like those are the biggest challenges throughout my experience.
Thank you very much, Jonathan. Well, what about you, Maria? Tell us what were the processes that you had to face during your journey applying for chevening, for wildlife, and for, well, actually the one that you mentioned about India, I don't remember, ITEC, right? That was the name?
Yes.
Well, tell us a little bit about that.
Yes. So for ITEC is the Indian Technical and Economical Corporation Program. And for that, you need to select the course. Is for developing countries. So you can go there if you are from a developing country, and it's a program that a developing country as India can teach you how to implement technology. So I select the course, and based on the course, you have some requirements, but are more about your. I think it is you have to have at least a bachelor degree and a cover letter, and then many other documents. Also, you have to prove that you are proficient in English. So you have to have this. It's not, they don't require you a specific exam, but a letter that from an academy that you are proficient in English to take the course. That's the requirements for the Indian Corporation Program. Then, for example, for chevening, you have to write some essays about your leadership skills. What do you want to implement when you come back to your country? Because chevening requires you to come back to your country for at least 2 years to implement, give back and implement what you learn from. So those are the essays, and at the same time, you need to apply for the universities. So you have to pick 3 universities, 3 different programs, and apply. And each university has different requirements. Also, like the TOEFL or the IELTS or different tests that to get there, and also cover letters. And in some universities, I did interviews, and they give me like a research paper, and okay, read this, and then I will ask you some questions, and you have these interviews. And in some other universities, you don't have that, just the like your motivation letter. So it depends, but you need to do the process like the scholarship and also the universities at the same time. For all the other programs is more about it was like water programs and business programs. So it's about talking about your business and also motivation letters and some other requirements. Yes, I think that.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And what were the challenges? What would you say will be that maybe was the most challenging situation that you had to face during this process?
I think in the case of Chivinin, I was applying during the pandemic. So I was my interview was in person, and then it was changed to a virtual meeting, and to really show my motivation like this in a virtual stage, it was kind of difficult at that point of the pandemic. We were not used to this kind of environment. And also I had to do the English test virtual. So I think that was, and then when I was studying the master, I think the difficult, it was kind of difficult, the program itself, like the classes that I took on chemistry. I needed to study a lot to get to the right level of education there. But it was really amazing.
Thank you. Danny, your turn.
Oh, well, Maria explained really well about cheapening and YLI. And since I've been through these two programs, I'll only talk about the Fulbright one then, the different one.
Yes.
So for those of you who are interested in teaching in the US, you should go to the Fulbright page of your country, and probably there you have all the application instructions, the eligibility, all the documents you have to provide. But basically, when the applications are open, you can click there and to apply to register, and then all the things you have to complete with your personal information, background, some essays, some documents. Maybe you have to transcribe some of your documents to English. Yeah, this is something I had to do. My academic transcript and certificates, I had to translate, certificate translator, so something a little more official. And then after you apply online, you will receive an email if you're shortlisted for an interview. So Fulbright was similar to Chivini in this sense, online application, and then second phase interview online. Well, Chivini actually was an interview in person. And I don't know if you're going to ask about challenges, but one of my challenges for the Chivini was taking a bus trip, 10 hours by bus, from my city to Sao Paulo just to attend the interview, and I almost got there late. Luckily I didn't, but I was there for 20 minutes, and after that I just took another bus back home, 10 more hours, and I didn't know if I would be accepted or not, but it was something that I wanted so bad that it was totally worth the try.
Yeah, wow, wonderful, wonderful histories, wonderful stories about what you have been through, and that's amazing to hear. You talk about your challenges, the processes, the requirements, and it's very inspiring to hear what you have been doing during your life. So my question now for you will be, what or how can I find the right scholarship for me? What are the topics that I have to consider, or if you have some tips in order to know that, and this will be for the people who are watching, how can they decide when to apply, how to apply, what to apply for, and all these recommendations that you can have, or you can say to them about what to do and how to do it? I don't know who wants to start. It's free.
Can I start again?
Yes, you can.
Yeah, thank you. So I would just recommend like to learn more about what are their objectives in life, like what do they want to do, and what they feel like if they didn't get any money, what would they do just for fun, you know? Because most about the scholarships is like you have to come back to your country as you said before, you have to come back to your country and somehow like give it back, you know, like you have to show your peers, show your classmates what you've learned and help society with the knowledge you get from those countries. And that is something like you're going to learn a lot. So that's why I think the first thing you need to do is do something that is called opportunity hunting, which is looking at the possibilities and then see where you fit better. Because like there are lots of opportunities for you, but you just have to find the right one for you. And the most important part about it is just seeing what is the profile they're looking, because most of the scholarships look for people who do volunteer service. So if you're a person that loves doing volunteer work, well, that program is the best for you. If you're, for example, like would like to pursue a master's degree or something, you have to look for those programs that offer that one. And if you want to help society or something, there are scholarships for that too. So the first thing is order your priorities, and then you go through them and try to look like what's best for you.
Wow, I think you summarized all the points. Thank you, Don. Maria, any recommendation?
Yeah, I think as John said, they look at that profile. In my case, for example, I was planning to apply to Chevening since I was in the high school because I really wanted to study in the UK in my master's. So I had like the brochure there, but I applied to this program of Young Water Solutions first, and the director of the program told me, "Okay, I saw a brochure of the Chevening scholarship in your office, but if you got selected in this program, you cannot go to Chevening in the next year." So it was a tough decision to stay in this other program and not apply to Chevening for a year, but that really helped me because then in Chevening is more about leadership and what are you going to give back when you come back. So I think the other experience really helped me to get then to Chevening. So it was nice, but it's about the profile that the scholarship requires you and what are you willing to do after also, because some of my friends don't want to apply to a scholarship that requires you to come back to your country. Some others scholarships you don't need to. You can go straight to a PhD or stay in the country. So you can choose, and you need to check the profile that they are asking for.
And that is very important because you mentioned about returning to your home country. And for example, in Paraguay, we have a program which is called Becas. And most are, I think all of them, like the master's and like post-graduation scholarships, there is a requirement that after you finish your studies, you have to come back to your country for 5 years. You're not allowed to do another exchange program or similar program for 5 years. And that's something very difficult for many people. If you are applying for a master's degree, but you are willing to do your doctorate, you're not going to stay for 5 years in your country. So you have to look for other options in order to continue your studies abroad, not like maybe wasting 5 years of your life in your country. So that's something very important to point out, especially for Paraguayans who are watching this live. So what about you, Dani? Is there something specific that you would like to say to the people who are watching you about that topic?
Yes, well, regarding finding the scholarship or the program that is right for you, this is something that students usually ask me, like, how did you discover about Fulbright, about Chevening, about wildlife? How do you get to know all of these amazing things? And I say, of course, searching online, but then how do you search online? They don't know how to start. And what I usually tell them is to go to some specific websites that make a compilation of opportunities. And as John said very nicely, you have to know your priorities. So you need to know what kind of program you are willing to participate in. So for example, if you're a high school student and you want to go to college abroad, so you go to one of these websites and see all the opportunities that are ranked under the bachelor's degrees. If you have finished your undergrad and you want to do a master's abroad, then you go to the same websites and you can see a lot of different opportunities for people who want to pursue their masters. So websites that I mean are like scholarshipscorner.com or scholarsfordev.com. I don't know if you're familiar with these websites, but I use them all the time. And these sites also have a specific part where they also talk about fellowships, about non-degree courses. So you really should go to these platforms and dig in, see what you can find that is similar to what you're looking for, your qualifications. And then after you find some options, go directly to eligibility and see if you have the requirements to apply. Because if you find a program and then, for example, your country is not in the list, or the age limit has passed, or you're not old enough to apply. So you have to see these details, and then you can shortlist, narrow down all the options to select the ones that you can apply effectively.
Thank you. Well, there was a question in the chat. One of the participants said that there is an age limit. I don't think there is an age limit for Fulbright and Chevening. Is it like is there a limit for that? Because he said for 45 years old or any age above. Do you know something about this?
I think for Chevening, you don't have an age limit.
Okay.
But for other programs you have, but for Chevening, no, you can apply.
Okay, and for Fulbright, Danny, do you have any idea?
Well, Fulbright has many different programs. So they have masters, they have PhD, in my case, the teaching assistantship. For my program, there isn't an age limit specifically, but they focus on teachers who have recently graduated. So there is, for example, if you have graduated up to 5 years ago, you can apply. There is some, I don't remember exactly how many years, but you need to be a recent graduate from your undergrad program. So after a certain time, you can't apply anymore.
Okay. Well, Danny, another question for you, because you are a teacher who went to the States and pursued that scholarship. Well, tell me, is there any or are there any opportunities for children, for teaching children abroad, specifically in the States?
Teaching children abroad, well, I'm not aware of any programs. Maybe because I mainly teach teenagers and adults. I haven't really searched for so many opportunities regarding children. Well, but I can try to find something if someone is interested.
Well, yes.
This is something that I always like to pay attention to. If I know I have some students who want to study abroad, one is an engineer, the other is a lawyer, every time I see an opportunity, I think about these people, I send them the link. As studying abroad has changed my life so deeply, I also love to encourage other people, especially the ones who are studying with me, to have a similar opportunity. So I always like to know who wants to go, and then every time I see the chance, I forward the link.
Okay, well, actually there is a program that now that you were talking about it, now I remember. There are programs for teachers who are teaching not specifically children, but elementary school, middle school and high school, to have an experience for 1 year in the States, a paid like exchange program. You will have the minimum salary, but this is not a scholarship. You have to apply through agencies like work and travel or internship programs. So this is teaching abroad, the name of the program. Maybe if the Mayra Alejandra Garcia, she was the one who asked that. So maybe in your country, if you're from Colombia, you have to see if there are agencies that promote or sell the service of finding a school for you as a teacher. Another question that I have for you that people ask in the chat was, what was the worst that you have experienced when you did, or yes, actually, I think they wrote wrongly, but what was the worst experience you had during your program or your fellowship? Jonathan, then Mari, and then Danny.
I think is like the worst experience I've had, because like the question is kind of difficult to answer because it's very general. However, I can say like the most difficult thing was like saying goodbye to the new friends I made, because like I think that's the most important part about the programs. Like you get new contacts and etc. And also at first it was kind of difficult for me because in the US they use trillions and those big numbers, and here in Paraguay we don't use them. So in mathematics it was incredibly difficult for me to like to use the calculator, and at the same time like trying to be more social, sociable in order to try to like express myself better in order to meet new friends and etc. So that was like a difficult part for me. When I talk about the process here before going to the States, the most difficult part was, as Danny mentioned, like you have to travel, especially if you are not from the capital city. You have to travel from your city to the capital city in order like to have the interviews or to hand in documents or papers that you're gonna have. And also like another difficult experience for me, I wouldn't say like it was difficult, but it was challenging, is like this was my first time being abroad, so there were lots of new things for me, like almost everything was new for me. And besides I had an opportunity to study and to learn new things, I also had an opportunity to do things that I always wanted to do. For example, visiting New York, for example. And with like, because they give you a money, like an amount of money that you can spend monthly, and you have to learn how to survive independently in another country, because it's not the same thing buying a cup of coffee here in Paraguay than buying a cup of coffee in America, because it's more expensive. So you need to learn how to deal with economy as well. And those are like some of the experience that I can share. But in general, there's nothing that I would complain about, because like most of it was wonderful.
Thank you. Mari, very shortly.
Yes, I think I cannot qualify something like the worst. Something, yeah, like challenging. Maybe about the environment. For example, the light in Edinburgh. It was really difficult for me. Then in the winter, the sunrise is at 9, and then the sunset at 3 p.m. And
My
it was,
goodness.
yeah,
No
so that,
daylights.
yeah, that was weird. um and difficult to adapt to that, and also challenging about, as I said before, the program itself, the exams and all the math exercise that I needed to do, but are only challenges you can learn from each situation.
Thank you. Danny?
Well, just like Maria and John, I experienced some culture shock in my first experience. The weather in Edinburgh was also challenging, but the biggest challenge for me was receiving my selection email at the same time that I discovered I was pregnant for YLI, my last experience abroad. So I had to deal with all the things I had to prepare, the documents, and I didn't know if I was going to be able to participate in the program because of the baby. Fortunately, they let me participate with your group, yes, with this year's group. I was actually selected with the 2021 group, but they gave me a deferral. So I had to prepare, my husband and I, we had to prepare many things regarding the baby so that she could be here without me for 5 weeks. So going to the US, knowing that I was going to be away from my baby daughter for 5 weeks was really challenging. I had to prepare myself emotionally to know that if she had fever, she had to go to hospital, whatever, her dad would have to be in charge, and I was going to be okay, she was going to be okay. So emotional intelligence is something that I think is fundamental if you plan to go abroad, especially if you're going abroad to a very different culture and for a long period of time. So luckily she was great during all the time. I was also very happy, enjoying my free time and sleeping well, and everything was okay. But this preparation is really important.
Yeah, thank you very much. Actually, that's very true. I see some comments. Well, Emaida, there are tons of opportunities for your sons. If they are teenagers, they can study abroad for a semester or for a year in high school in the States or in other countries. You just have to look Rotary Foundation or any other organization that promotes these kind of opportunities. If they are going to study at university, you can find if your country of origin has some partnerships with some countries or with some states of the US. For example, Paraguay has a partnership with Kansas. So all the universities in Kansas has like a scholarship for Paraguayans. So you have to look if your country has this kind of partnership with others. If your government has some maybe help for people who want to study abroad. There are opportunities for entrepreneurs, for business people, like in my case, Danny and Maria, who were awarded with the Wildlife Program, which is for entrepreneurs, for business owners, for leaders. Well, we have a lot of categories of opportunities abroad. So you just have to, as they just mentioned, go online, search, first of all, your objective, and then look if you are eligible or not for this opportunity. Thank you very much for your participation. We are done with this session. So I want to invite you to go to the main session, the previous session we had. There you will find the link for the next session, because we're going to have in 2 minutes another session, main session. And well, you also can find the links in your email. So maybe you can go check there, but to be very, very quick, you can go to the last transmission we have and find the links there. So thank you very much for your time. Thank you, Jonathan, Maria, and Danny, for sharing your experience. It was very nice to see you again. And well, stay tuned. We're going to continue this Congress for 3 days. Thank you.
Thank you. It was a pleasure. Thank you
Yeah,
very much.